I gained 9 kilos over the last year of life and training, and today I'm going to share with you 9 things that I think helped me do it. Now, I'm a self-proclaimed hard gainer. I find it very effortless in order to lose weight, and if I don't pay attention to what I'm eating and I just sort of eat as I feel, I end up really lean. But on the flip side, I find it very hard and very slow to add muscle. So I want to share with you a couple of the tips that finally helped me do it. In return, please drop a comment below and share one thing that's helped you gain weight in the past. Okay, let's get into it. The first thing that helped me gain weight is broth. Do y'all fuck with bone broth? Because honestly, I think you should. It's calorically dense, super nutritious, and basically free if you just make it from the bones of the meat that you'd already eat. Collagen supplementation is all the rage these days, but let me give you a little bit of secret. Collagen supplements are just bone broth with like half of the nutrients, basically the fat and the fat soluble vitamins, taken out. So you can just cut out the middleman, save yourself a lot of money, and just make your own bone broth and then drink it whenever you want. I like to drink this as sort of my like pre-workout, and it's a great way to get extra calories and nutrition essentially for free, and it also tastes really good. Thing number 2 that helped me gain weight was front-loading the decision work. So when I began my weight gaining journey, I was sitting around 80 kilograms in the most muscular and lean body of my life. And I figured that if I really wanted to drastically increase my long-term strength, I would have to significantly increase my muscle mass, which would mean significantly gaining weight. So a year ago in June, I committed wholeheartedly to spending a whole year trying my best to gain weight. And by actually convincing myself up front that this was a journey that I really wanted to embark on, I was able to avoid a huge amount of decision fatigue and self-doubt during the process. It's very easy in the beginning when you start gaining weight because you can add weight pretty quickly, but when the going gets tough and you hit a plateau, many people start to second guess their motivations in the first place. So I really think it's important to have a deep, meaningful reason why you want to gain this weight in the first place and actually believe that. For me, I know that in the long term, I want to be significantly stronger than I currently am. And if I look around at people my height, the people that are significantly stronger are significantly heavier as well. So it just makes sense that I'm going to need to build significantly more muscle in order to achieve those goals. And so because I really want it, I don't doubt it. So when the going gets tough, I can keep going. Because I committed to doing it for a long period of time, I also don't feel a lot of psychological pressure to make gains quickly. And I think this is actually extremely important. About halfway through, I sort of hit a plateau for 2 or 3 months, but I didn't need to be stressed about it because I still had many months of bulking still to go. Tip number 3 is realizing that you gotta shit big to get big, baby. So this doesn't need to be taken completely literally, but hear me out here. Your body does not want to add significant amounts of mass, right? It wants to stay roughly the same. It wants to stay in homeostasis. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of work for your body to significantly increase its mass over time. And so sometimes I find that just relying on my appetite and trying to out-eat my appetite isn't enough. So every so often when my weight's been stagnant for a couple weeks, I tell myself, John, you gotta shit big to get big. And I just go all in. I really properly binge and eat significantly more than I would want to for just a few days. After a few days of really eating a lot, I'll hit a new weight PB and then find it easier to make progress for the next month or so. Now, this type of binging is not recommended all the time, but every so often for me, when I would hit a snag, I would repeat myself this mantra. You need to shit big to get big. And then I would just suck it up and guzzle down some more food, and lo and behold, I would get bigger. Also, unlike many people who are bulking, I wasn't willing to cut down my activity levels in order to burn less calories. I love being active, playing sports and games outside, so that was just off the table for me. During this year, I went running 2 to 3 times a week, I increased my VO2 max by 2 points, and I worked up to my longest run ever, a 30K trail run, did about a month ago. I also did several multi-day backpacking trips during that year, so a lot of calories were being burned, and thus a lot of calories had to be consumed. So I had to shit big to get big. Number 4 was adding a dedicated leg day. So this was very low-hanging fruit for me personally because in the previous 2 years, I hadn't trained my legs at all. I had been trying to not gain weight in order to climb better, so I didn't want extra muscle mass on my lower body that wasn't directly applicable to climbing better. However, I changed my mind and I decided to finally go all in on getting bigger and stronger throughout my whole body. And so obviously, I gained some weight on my lower body as well. But I also think that just training your legs does have some sort of systemic effect in making your whole body stronger and bigger. I really think it's hard to replicate the stimulus that you get from doing back squats or Zercher squats, something where you're lifting a very heavy load, holding it on your upper body, and then doing squats with it. I honestly felt like by training my legs, as my legs would get stronger, my arms would get stronger at a faster rate than when I was just training my arms. So maybe I'm the only one who needed to hear this, but don't skip leg day. Number five is milk. Milk is just incredibly underrated. It's so nutritious and it's so delicious and it's so easy to just guzzle down and get a couple extra calories in the day. Also, whey protein, another supplement that people are trying to get you to buy with their discount code, is literally just milk with half the nutrition filtered out. They take out all of the fat and the associated fat soluble vitamins, and then they take out all the sugar, and what's left is just whey protein. But if you're not trying to lose weight and micromanage your macronutrients, you can just drink the whole food source that whey protein comes from, which is milk. It's delicious, nutritious, and it really helps you add mass without feeling super full. Number six is sleeping more. So, how many hours do you think constitutes a good night's sleep? Maybe 7 or 8? Wrong. I aim for like 8 to 10 hours while I'm bulking and while I'm training hard because honestly, I think 7 to 8 hours is really good for a healthy individual who's not under a lot of stress. But if you're putting your body under a lot of stress in the gym, if you have a busy social life, and if you're trying to literally trick your body into adding more mass than it wants to, well, you probably need to sleep a lot because you get big while you sleep. You don't get big while you're in the gym. So this year, I did my best to try to be in bed between 8 and 10 hours as many nights as possible. Did I do it every single night? No, obviously not. Did I always sleep the full amount of time that I was in bed? Also no, but I gave myself the opportunity to do it, and I do think that that really helped. Tip number seven is spending time in the sun. Now, the haters out there might call this woo woo and pseudosciency, and I'll be the first to admit that I don't understand deeply why spending more time in the sun makes me feel better in every aspect of my life, but I'm very convinced that it does. I think that giving your body more information about what time of day it is helps your circadian rhythm, a process which is literally just your body being tuned to the cycle of the sun. The more information you allow your body to have about what time of day it is, the better your circadian rhythm seems to be. That, plus the experience of actually doing it, is enough for me. I try to go outside as soon as I wake up, and then I try to see sunset as many days as possible. I think it helps me feel more energized during my day so I can crush my workouts and live a good life. And I think it helps me feel tired after sunset so that I can actually sleep well and recover. And because growth actually happens while we're sleeping, I think it's important to have your circadian rhythm on lock. So get outside in the sun whenever you can, but don't get sunburned, obviously. Thing number eight that I think helped me gain a lot of weight was going slow at it. So I gained 9 kilograms in about a year, so less than 1 kilogram per month, which is probably not the maximal rate that I could have gained, right? However, it was a rate that was sustainable for me to keep doing it. So it wasn't so hard that I lost motivation and had to quit. And it also wasn't so fast that I was adding significant amounts of fat and not liking how my body looked. At no point during the year did I ever lose my abs. And so for me, it was quite motivating to continue to enjoy how my body looked during the process of gaining weight. I think a lot of people shy away from bulking because they're afraid of losing their abs or just not looking as defined. And the reality is, yes, you will look less defined because you will gain fat if you are consistently trying to gain weight. But if you just go slow enough at a rate that you can also gain a substantial amount of muscle, then it's not going to significantly change the way you look in a negative way. So yes, you probably could gain muscle faster by bulking more aggressively and then cutting, but I think a slightly slower bulk makes sense for me because I want to look good and I want to feel good about how I look. And so choosing a method that doesn't compromise that makes the most sense for me. Number nine is measurement. And so specifically, how did I measure my progress? I measured my progress only by tracking my weight. So I would wake up in the morning, shit big, and then weigh myself. And I would do that basically every single day and track the trends over time. Also, before I was gaining weight, I had been tracking my weight for the last like 4 or 5 years or so of training. So I was very familiar with my daily fluctuations in weight and my baseline, and it was very easy to look at my weight changes over time with an objective eye. So if you aren't currently tracking your weight, I'd highly recommend starting it now because maybe someday in the future you'll want to gain or lose weight. And if you have a habit of tracking your weight consistently, you don't need to count calories. At the end of the day, the outcome that you're trying to have is that you're gaining weight. The outcome is not that you're eating more calories, right? That's the input. So obviously people can have success with counting calories, and I'm not saying you shouldn't do it if you feel motivated to do that or if you find that it works for you. However, personally, I think counting calories just takes a lot of time and it adds little decision points and stressors to the actual act of preparing food, planning food, and eating food. And I think for me personally, when I'm preparing, planning, and eating my food, I just want to enjoy it. I want to enjoy the taste of the food. I want to enjoy the experience of eating it, and I want to enjoy the company of my friends and family that I'm eating with. And so for me, I want to do the planning and the decision making about what I'm going to eat in the future in the morning when I'm weighing myself, not when I'm planning my meals. So if I notice a trend in my weight that I don't like, I just correct for it over the next week, but I don't obsess about every single meal. So I hope those tips can help you make some gains in the next year. That's all for today. As usual, I really appreciate your time. Now get out there, get after it, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.